What's up, everybody? Marla Cross 316 back with another comic book flashback, and today we are looking at the Amazing Spider-Man issue number 115. This issue was released in September of 1972, and the cover is December of 1972, and we are looking at the last battle. Spider-Man coming up against Doctor Otto Octavius and also Hammerhead. This is the conclusion to this storyline. Finally, Peter Parker has found Aunt May. Aunt May has been missing for quite some time. We don't know why she left, but now all of the puzzle pieces are starting to come together. And oh my goodness, is Aunt May going to become an assassin? Is she going to assassinate Spider Man, who we all know as Peter Parker, but that's her own nephew, and she doesn't know about it? And so, as he saw on the cover, she's pointing point blank a gun, and there's no way that she couldn't miss. So, could this be the death of Spider Man? We will have to find out in this issue. Do not click away. We have an exciting tale to look at today in issue number 115. This issue was brought to you by John Romita and Jerry Conway. They did the art and story. The editing is done by Roy Thomas and art assistant by Tony Mortallero, and also the lettering by Artie Simek. So let's go ahead now and get going here as Hammerhead and his crew are making headway here. They are just breaking right into this secret headquarters here that Dr. Otto Octavius has been, stashing the Aunt May here. She's been a maid for him, and now we are getting to some good action here. Good drawing scenes here from the great John Romita Sr. We have a lot of great action to look at right here as we have both Doctor Octopus and Hammerhead. They are rivals. If you haven't been keeping up in the last few issues, there is a gang war going on in New York City. Both Doctor Octopus and Hammerhead are fighting to become the lead gang leader of New York because Kingpin is kind of out of action right now, and so they're trying to replace Kingpin's position by filling it with one of these guys. And so you got these two gangs, Dr. Octavius's men and Hammerhead, and they've been fighting for the past 2 or 3 issues now. And so it's all coming to a close here with this big battle. We see that Dr. Octopus is going to be firing every kind of arsenal at his disposal here as these hat hooks start shooting laser beams. You would never think that these hat hooks would do such a thing, but of course Dr. Octopus, being a genius, a scientific genius, is always ready, always planning, always cunning, and he's ready for every kind of move here. And of course, now we've got a big warfare here. Dr. Octavius's men, Hammerhead's men, gunfire, just firing at each and every end here. Smoke grenades, you name it. This is craziness going on right here. And we see that Dr. Octopus is going to try to protect himself by letting this steel door get in the way between him and Hammerhead. Well, Hammerhead is going to keep ramming his steel-like head into this door, and even this door might not last too long, even though it's steel. Hammerhead could possibly get to where Dr. Octopus is, and he's kind of worried about that. Well, Aunt May, being so fragile, she's an elderly woman, doesn't have the clearest reasons as to what the heck is going on. All she knows is that she's supposed to be this maid for Dr. Octopus. She's been working for him this entire time, and that we've been wondering where she's been. Well, she's been working for Dr. Octopus as a maid. Well, Spider-Man just got clobbered over the head last issue thanks to Aunt May, and now he's starting to come to his senses. He's starting to regain consciousness. Aunt May is going to run away to call the police, And as Spider-Man gets to his senses here, he's like, I could have sworn I thought I saw Aunt May, but am I still dreaming? Well, now Doctor Octopus looks on his screens here, and he's like, oh crap! Now Spider-Man's here. I got to deal with him and Hammerhead. Well, Hammerhead just breaks through that steel door, and now Doctor Octopus has to make a quick getaway here, but they're going to fight it out just a little bit. Doctor Octopus says, imbecile, do you think me totally defenseless? Once these arms were mere tools, electronic aids for the handling of radioactive isotopes. Yet since the accident which temporarily grafted them to my skin, they've become more, much more. Perhaps now you understand, Hammerhead. You can never defeat Doctor Octopus. Never! And here comes more of Hammerhead's men. They start firing at Doctor Octopus. Doctor Octopus gets away. While Spider-Man is climbing through this air duct, we see Doctor Octopus is making his way. Spider-Man's spider sense begins to tingle, but it goes away. He makes it back to where Aunt May's at. He tries to console her, says, nothing's wrong, don't call the cops. And while he's consoling Aunt May, he uses his tentacles here to snap the cord here so that she won't be able to call anybody. Meanwhile, at the Daily Bugle, we see that Gwen Stacy is still looking for Aunt May and Peter Parker, and she thinks that she can go to the Daily Bugle since Peter Parker is a worker there. He works, he's on staff at the Daily Bugle. Well, we see that Jameson has no nice words to say about Peter Parker, but Ned Leeds gives Gwen the information that she needs, tells her that, yeah, I saw Peter Parker. He came here and I told him that his aunt is working for this guy at this house in Westchester. It's an employment agency. And I don't know, there's something fishy about the owner. Well, this grabs the attention of Robertson here, Joe Robertson. He says, I smell a story here. Let's get going, y'all, because there's a good story and we need to get going, and maybe this will connect all the puzzle pieces as to why Aunt May is missing and where Peter Parker is at as well. So they're on their way to this whole scene. They have no idea that this is going on. We see Spider-Man is going to swing on through. He's going to get right in the middle of this gang war here. His main concern, though, is to find Aunt May and get him away from Doctor Octopus. But before Spider-Man is able to get to Doctor Octopus, he has to go through Hammerhead. Hammerhead here is no laughing matter. I mean, this guy is tough. And Spider-Man still does not have a lot of experience with Hammerhead. He's only fought him once. And so Hammerhead's going to ram his head right into the bad spot, the ulcer that has been really causing a lot of pain for Spider-Man in the past couple of issues. Spider-Man has a bad stomach ulcer that is really affecting his ability to do what he needs to do. Well, here comes Joe Robertson. Meanwhile, Hammerhead's going to get away. And so Hammerhead is definitely not going to be caught in this issue. He's going to be able to get away. But what about Doctor Octopus? Well, Spider-Man's still worried about Aunt May, and lo and behold, it is the truth. Aunt May is with Doctor Octopus. She has sided with Doctor Octopus, and it's just broken the heart of Spider-Man here. He can't believe it. But, of course, Aunt May has been, she's been lied to here. Excuse me, y'all, for that. Anyway, Aunt May has been lied here this entire time, and we see that Spider-Man is going to have to try to convince her that Dr. Octopus is a villain. We know in the past, and like in issue number 54, that she has had some sympathy for Dr. Octopus. It says that he's a genius. Well, we see that Dr. Octopus gets really into the head of Spider-Man by saying that Aunt May might have some feelings for Doctor Octopus. And I mean, Spider-Man just lays the hammer on Doctor Octopus, punching him, and I mean, just pummeling him. And Aunt May can't stand it, and she grabs a gun and she's aiming it right towards Spider-Man. She can't miss, but all of a sudden, a police siren starts going off, and she misfires, saving the life of Spider-Man just because of that police siren. So all of Hammerhead and Doctor Octopus men are rounded up here, and thanks to that police siren, Spider-Man's life was saved. We see that Gwen Stacy and the rest of the crew are going to come and hug Aunt May. They're so glad to see that she's safe. And we see that Dr. Octopus is then going to call Aunt May over, gives some words to her. We don't know what he says, but the real worry for Gwen Stacy now is, where is her boyfriend? Where's Peter Parker? Well, Peter is going to change to his civilian outfit, act like he's been there the entire time and as a photographer. And so he makes the quickest change that we've ever seen here. He meets up with everybody else, hugs Aunt May, but Aunt May has some startling news for Peter Parker. She has come to terms that she wants to continue to work for Dr. Octopus. She's going to stay at his Westchester home and be a maid, and she's not coming home with Peter. And this just absolutely shocks Peter to the core. First off, it was shocking enough to find out that she had been with Dr. Octopus and working for him, but it's even more startling here that she's going to stay behind and continue to work for him. And he can't convince her. She says, "You're a grown man, Peter. You're on your own now. You don't need me to take care of you." And so this just breaks Peter's heart. And so this is where we're going to leave off right here with Peter. But meanwhile, we see Hammerhead has gotten on a plane, and he is going to continue to wait for Dr. Octopus until he gets out of prison. But until then, Hammerhead's going to lay low for a while. But anyway, that is how we end this issue. I mean, wow, some shocking stuff. Aunt May, we did not expect her to continue to stay at that home and work as a maid for Dr. Octopus. Of all villains, she's working for Dr. Octopus. Will Peter Parker be able to convince her in the next issue that she needs to stop working for a villain? We'll find out in issue number 116. Hope to see y'all there. But meanwhile, go ahead now and drop a like on this video. Comment down below what you thought about this. And as always, subscribe, and I will see y'all in the next one.